In the first match of MSI playing stage, we have Team Liquid facing off against T1. T1 came into the tournament after narrowly defeating Gen G to claim the second seed from the LCK. Meanwhile, Team Liquid qualified as the second seed after knocking out Cloud9 in the losers bracket, and then losing to Leon in the finals. If we look at the global power rankings coming into this series, we can see that T1 is ranked 3rd. Team Liquid, on the other hand, is ranked 23rd. Now, I agree that the global power rankings aren't the best in terms of gauging how strong a team is. As you can see, Life ranks below G2, which I don't think is accurate, but they still give us a good idea of the mismatch between T1 and Team Liquid coming into this tournament. In Game 1, we see that T1 has gone Mel ADC and Camille support. This is a combo that's been fairly popular in the LCK, but we haven't really seen it being played in other regions outside of Korea and China. Part of what makes this combo so strong is that the Camille can engage and set up kills for the Mel. Area hits a beautiful E-flash to secure first blood, and he survives long enough to the point where Akali has to come down to execute him. If you look at the minimap, you can see that Faker uses this as an opportunity to push in the wave and get a lead. That first blood is so crucial that the Caitlyn, who's usually a champion who likes to push out, is found under the tower, and Keria engages once again and kills her. Or JJ is super slow to react and actually ends up saving the Camille by putting her in stasis, which drops turret aggro, and allows both of the team members from T1 to survive. At the same time, in the mid lane, we can see that Faker has managed to push his lead and has chunked out the Akali. This then allows T1 to win a 2v2 jungle mid lane fight and give Faker a double kill, further putting him ahead. Thanks to the Camille pick, T1 is able to get a lead in the bot lane, and thanks to their pressure, Faker is able to turn that into a lead in the mid lane. As we can see, the Caitlyn has completely lost the game, and there's nothing she can do as she gets driven over and over. Thanks to the lead that T1 has generated, Team Liquid is starting to feel desperate, and as we can see here, Wukong attempts to going on the Camille, but she's able to buy up enough time for the rest of T1 to arrive, which then allows T1 to get the Bard and drop the Rift Herald that they got previously. The Rift Herald allows them to take the mid lane and take the bot lane tower, further cementing T1's lead. 23 minutes in, Team Liquid actually find a really good engage as the Wukong hits the backline, which allows the Yasuo to ult in. Just as it looks like Team Liquid might come back, Nara hits a massive ultimate, which lets T1 wipe out the rest of Team Liquid. After that fight, T1 is able to secure the Baron and build up an almost 10,000 gold lead, which they then use to knock down the base of Team Liquid. Looking back at this game, it's very clear that Team Liquid was not expecting the Camille pick and were not prepared for it. Yeon was completely useless on the Caitlyn, and there was nothing he could do to prevent the Camille and the Mel from popping him at the beginning of every fight. Game 1 was clearly decided in the draft phase, and Team Liquid didn't really stand a chance. Going into Game 2, Team Liquid actually got a pretty good draft against T1. They got the Poppy and the Taliyah, both really good champions at stopping any dashing champions. T1 had drafted Kalista, Mbessa, and Vi, all champions with dashes, which makes it really hard for them to engage and to win fights. And T1 tries to be proactive by diving bot lane, but they end up getting punished and give up 2 kills for 1. At the 12th minute mark, Team Liquid and T1 are fighting for dragon control, and T1 gets engaged on by the Nautilus ultimate and blocked off thanks to the Taliyah ult. Vi attempts to ult in, but gets stunned thanks to the Taliyah rocks. And here we can start to see why this comp is so difficult for T1 to play. Anytime they try to dash in, they have to deal with the Taliyah. Fight after fight, we see T1 struggle to try to get the lead onto Team Liquid. In this scenario, Vi ults the Taliyah before she can put down the rocks, but is then CC'd by the Taliyah rocks and by the Nautilus, leading to her death. Nautilus is then able to engage, and with the Rumble ult blocking off T1, T1 barely escapes with the Rise ultimate, but end up losing the fight. At this point, the game is looking pretty unplayable for T1. Vi can't even engage without getting CC'd to death, and the Poppy is able to completely annul and shut down the Mbessa. Right after that fight, Pace attempts to punish an overextended Senna but gets shut down by the Nautilus and Poppy blocking his path. Talia then comes in and cleans up the rest of the fight. If you look at the scoreboard, she has a 3.3 thousand gold lead on herself. At this point in the game, Quid is the most important member of Team Liquid, and for no reason at all, he pops his Sonyas right before a major fight, in true NA fashion. This is such a major blunder because he is then punished on the side lane and killed, giving over a massive shutdown. This shutdown allows T1 to stay in the game and compete for the Baron objective. There's a pretty close fight here, and Renata lands a great ultimate which allows T1 to stay alive despite getting into a tight position. As you can see, Ryze and Kalista are doing the best that they can to kite and to stay far away from the Nautilus and the Talia and the Poppy. Team Liquid then commit a second blunder and allow T1 to take the Baron right in front of their faces. With the game slipping out of their hands, Team Liquid aims to take the Dragon Soul so that they can stay one step ahead of T1. Rumble lands a great ultimate into the backline of T1, but Keria responds by having a great flash ult engage on the Renata, which completely splits up the Team Liquid backline and allows T1 to take the fight, and the dragon. By the time the next dragon rolls around, T1 has completely closed the lead that Team Liquid had, and Ryze is now a late game powerhouse. Ace gets engaged on by a beautiful Rumble ult and Nautilus hook, but he's able to flash away and QSS before he gets killed. He then pulls the Renata in with his ultimate, and Renata lands a beautiful flash ult engage, just like last time, to split up the rest of Team Liquid, allowing T1 to clean them up. This game is a great example of the massive skill difference between T1 and Team Liquid. Despite having an Exodia comp against T1, Team Liquid somehow found a way to lose the game. Honestly, I blame Quid for this one. He was up 3,000 gold and was the most important member of his team, and for no reason he just Sonyases in the middle of the jungle, which leads to him getting picked off and killed by the Ryze, which allows T1 to come back and bring us to match point. In Game 3, we can see that Team Liquid has completely mental boomed as Noxian tries to invade the Lee Sin without any communication from his mid laner. I don't know if his mid laner muted him after last game, but he gets engaged on by the Annie, and as he tries to escape, he pulls the aggro into the Galio, and both of them end up dying. When Noxian is behind, he turns into a pretty useless champion, and Lee Sin is able to capitalize on this by taking Void Grubs and 2 dragons. He then resets and takes Rift Herald. In the next fight, T1 is able to secure the objective, but the Noxian and Nico combo works great here as CoreJJ lands a 3-man ult, which allows Team Liquid to clean up most of T1. Team Liquid managed to find Seri, and just as it looks like they're about to take their first objective, Lee Sin swoops in and steals it right in front of their faces, thus securing Cloud Soul for T1. Cloud Soul is extremely important for this area as she is a very ult-based champion, and the additional movement speed from the Yuumi and the Cloud Soul will let her skate in teamfights. This is exactly what we see in the following fight as Noxian burns his ultimate to try to pick off Faker and Varus ults nobody. Seri is then able to re-engage, and look at how quickly she's able to move thanks to the Yuumi and the Cloud Soul. At this point, Team Liquid has nothing in their arsenal to defend themselves, and they just get wiped out by T1. Looking back on this series, nobody was really expecting Team Liquid to beat T1. It's just the way they lost the second game that's very concerning for the LCS region as a whole coming into this tournament. They had a really good draft and they had a huge lead, and they still threw the game. So that's very concerning. I also think the support meta is extremely important right now. There's a lot of enchanters in this meta, but there's also some really good engaged supports like the Shen and the Camille, which we saw in the LCK playoffs. So it'll be interesting to see if other teams in other regions are able to adapt to these picks and find a solution for them. I would definitely say that Keria was the MVP of this series. He was crucial in getting T1 leads in the early games and also with massive engages in the team fights. Going back to my pick'ems, I had chosen T1 and KC as the 2 winners of the first round, which so far has been correct. For today's match, I predict that T1 will beat KC and that DCG will beat Team Liquid. That one is really up in the air. Either team could win it, so we'll have to see what ends up happening. If you made it this far, I want to thank you so much for your support. Please don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and ring the bell for more notifications when videos come your way. Thank you very much.